um, most communities or some communities don't really accept having a woman run a business or run a shop. So I've gone into communities where me asking to interview women and put them in a shop was a challenge. But it's been very, very educational for me, and we've faced all the challenges head on, and we have women right now running our hubs, and right now there is a girl who is able to see a woman running a technology and selling our services. And
are there communities where you have like a lot of women that are already working, or are there communities that naturally don't have women in this type of positions? Like, how has that experience been, like in this specific? Because I understand you're a very last mile company.
Um, so most communities that we have entered, women have not gotten the opportunity to run any business. It is something that is very foreign for some of the communities that we've entered. I've had to speak to local government leaders to actually explain in depth what we're planning to do and how it will benefit the community if it's a woman running a house. And we've had to keep our stance in many situations where people are like, you need to hire men to run your house. And we're like, no, this is our business model. We're sticking to our business model. So people had to fall in line because we had a stand on the issue. And it isn't always easy because it just gave us more reason to be clear on why we're hiring women in the hubs. Why is it just women? Why is this opportunity given to them? And the reality is that with the conversation that we're having today, women in value chains, women have been involved in the value chain for so long now, but then mostly in the labor side, not in the cash exchange side. So with Jazza, we have been pretty adamant to get women on the cash exchange in a shop, running a service, giving services and goods, and just in the cash exchange part of the value chain. So it's been a challenge, and as I said, it's been quite a journey. But we're doing it at 40 hubs. We're going to do it at 100 hubs, and we're going to do it at 10,000 hubs.
Oh, thank you so much for that. So I want to zoom out a little bit, and because you are one company in specific areas, like very last mile communities in Tanzania, but I want to zoom it out a little bit towards like Tanzania as a whole. And when I was doing research, there was a survey that was done by a local newspaper, and that surveyed how many women are in leadership positions in Tanzania. And so the survey results found out 8% of the country's CEO are women. So you have 92% that is all men. And so this question is going to go to you, Miss Anna Bahati. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're doing to get women to leadership and management positions in Tanzania through the Future Tanzania project. Tell us a little bit about what they get trained on, how do they get selected, how do you track the progress of these women to see if they actually do graduate to go into those management positions that you're training them for, and how can companies in the room that are interested in this find out how to work with the Female Future Tanzania project?
Thank you so much, Anita. As she introduced me earlier, I work with the Association of Tanzania Employers, which is the most representative organization for employers in Tanzania. And we run this program, the Female Future Program, in collaboration with NHO, which is like the Art of Norway. And we do it, we conduct the trainings with ESAMI. And when we took this program, we actually did a survey to find out what is the missing link. Why don't we have enough women in top leadership positions in Tanzania? And 35% of the results said that there was still a lot of missing skills in women. Of course, there are other reasons, but that was the biggest of them. So we collaborated with NHO and started this program in 2016. And as we adapted it because it's one of the best practices as said by ILO in gender, it's one of the best practices when you are talking about reducing the gender gap in top management. And even the ILO Training Center mentioned it as one of the best practices in Africa because this program is also in Kenya and Uganda and now in Tanzania, and this year we are going to start it in Ghana. Now, you asked me about the program. What do we do with the program? We actually call for women who are in middle management and some in top management. And because we're a membership-based organization, we talk to organizations, we tell them about the business case of why should we have women in top management positions, that it's not just a good thing to do, but it's a smart thing to do. It has been proved by so many researchers that women bring so much value in leadership. And we tell them this, and most of the companies here have really understood the concept, and they've been bringing women for the program. And we are training them in leadership. This has more to do with who am I as a woman, what are my leadership qualities, what should I bank on more as a leader, and what should I focus on more as a woman. And then we train them on rhetoric. It has more to do with logic, there's a lot of pathos and legos, and how to write speeches, how to make elevator pitches, and so much more. And then we get trained on board competence. This has to do, and now this is a certified course, you have to sit for exams, so it's no joke. You'll go for class, and then you'll sit for an exam by Yesami. And in this course, that's where they learn about corporate social responsibility. And we have really tried to tell the women about, actually, most of this you learn by doing. So you are told, go back to your organization, look at their policies on social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. Are there things you can change? Can you do something about it? Propose for changes. And I can proudly say that we have seen changes, because on graduation, our last graduation, the ladies raised money out of their pockets to contribute to something, but they went far. They went back to the organizations and made sure that there are some things which are being implemented. And of course, they've been taught more about making it more of a social responsibility investment and not just a charity case and all that. So, as you said, how do we track these women? So far, we have trained 58 women. These have graduated. And there are 20 who are done with classes but yet to sit for exams. And 33, as we are seated here, they are starting their class at Sick Leave Hotel. So among those women, 7 have become board members already. And some have become board members of very prestigious boards, such as Ewura. We have a board member in CBA Bank and so many others. And about 17 women have taken higher and challenging positions in the organizations or in even other organizations. So these women, they will always tell you that through this program I've been pushed to go for positions that I thought were not meant for me. And 2 of them are COOs, one in a bank and another one in a hospital. So I can assure you that we are tracking these women, and until now we have more than 57 companies supporting the program, because now we don't just do training, we have other things as well to support these women. We look at policies, and for that reason we have started having an annual leadership conference where we discuss policy issues, because we don't want these women to come and be trained, and when they go back to the organizations, the environment is not. So we make sure that we bring that discussion on board, and this year we'll also have another one. And we have also started having a Female Future Alumni Network, whereby these women can meet, and they're now starting to give back to the society by training other young women. mentoring other young women to get these skills which they got in class. So far, I can really say that I've seen a great return. The companies which bring women are always confessing to us that, you know what, we do not regret. This was a great investment to us as a company. We have seen the return, and not just as a company, but for the whole society. And these women have grown immensely. And for that reason, we are going to keep doing this program for the coming years. Thank you.
So thank you so much for that. And I'll allow the plenary to ask questions. I don't want to take all the questions, but so one of the things that was mentioned in the previous speeches is that empowering women is not just about getting them into these leadership positions, but there are other ways in which companies can be more conscious about making sure, like their procurement, for example, and their suppliers, how they're working with businesses that are women-led or working with SMEs that eventually women through their own value chains. And we've seen this global movement since 2015 into getting companies globally to look at their procurement, to look at their value chain, and to get more women and marginalized groups in those value chains. And so this question is going to go to you, Mr. Ntunge. Tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing with Kusoi International to empower women-led SMEs and get them into larger private sector value chains here in Tanzania. Tell us a little bit more about what impact the project has had so far. How do you track improvement? How do you make sure that these women actually get opportunities in these value chains? And what would you advise the larger companies in Tanzania that are thinking about working with more women-led SMEs in their value chains?
Thank you. I'm working with the Kusoi International, and Kusoi International is one of the Canadian supported not-for-profit organizations. So we are implementing a project called the T-led, or Tanzania Local Enterprise Development, and the project is being co-implemented with VSO, and I'm happy to recognize Don's presence here from VSO. So this project, as Anita has said, is supporting sustainable growth for SMEs, sustainable economic growth for SMEs. And when you look at the project, it's looking at 3 different economic zones of the country. One is the Southern Highland. One will ask, why are you focusing Southern Highland? It's because of the foreign direct investment in agribusiness in the southern part of the country. And therefore, when the project was developed, it was looking at why